Good afternoon. My name's Stephanie Latcham. I'm with Ford Manufacturing. And what I would like to talk to you today is job cost analysis. So at Ford Manufacturing, we look at our jobs and see how we can make sure that we're profitable and kind of forecast for the future. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So what is cost accounting? Well, cost accounting is a system that takes into account all direct things that actually touch the product, and indirect things that don't touch the product, and how it relates to production of a good or service. So direct costs would be any raw material or direct labor included in that production of a good or service. And then indirect costs are what we call manufacturing overhead. This can include factory supervisors, salaries, rent for manufacturing facilities, depreciation of factory equipment. It could be other things as well, but in our case, those are the things that we consider. They are included in the production of the good that we are producing, but they're not in the product itself or directly touch the product. So why do we do cost accounting? Well, for one, it provides a better way to know what products or services are profitable and manage our production by measuring the cost of each job that we produce. It also gives managers a useful tool to see where there are efficiencies and inefficiencies in the production line. You know, what is working for us? What isn't working? Can there be improvement? What can make us more profitable in that job? It also allows upper management to create a budget. So based on historical information, we can kind of guess, which is an estimate, of where we should be at. And then we can look at the new year forecast and kind of measure where we've been at and where we're going. So how is it done? Good question. Well, the first thing you need to know is your inventory system. Here at Ford Manufacturing, we do a FIFO inventory system, which means first in, first out, which literally is exactly what it is. So whatever we get first in is going to be what we sell first. And that is included in our raw materials. So our raw materials looks at what's coming in, what's going out. As things are going out to jobs, we have material requisitions, which release the material to the job. That information is from the raw materials, which is reported there, and then goes into our job cost sheet. Daily timesheets per job are actually recorded, and those are actual direct labor cost. The other thing is our manufacturing overhead, which we predicted that this year should be $19.85 per direct labor hour. So for September, we had 3 jobs. 450 and 451 were completed, and they were actually sold. 452 is what we still call our work in progress. So it's not a raw material, it's not a finished good, but it's kind of in the middle. So here you can see that where the materials are pretty high on all the jobs, and then we have our direct labor and our overhead that's been applied. So we estimated for the year that in 2024, annually it would be $277,900 for the year, with 14,000 direct labor hours, which equals to the 1985. And here you can see that what we applied, which would be our estimated overhead at 1985 per direct labor hour is 2,640, but what the actual expenses that came in were 3,300. So with that being said, we first look at our cost of goods manufactured. So we look at our raw materials, you know, what was purchased, what was ended up at the year, you know, our applied overhead, our beginning work in process, and we do have one job that's still sitting there, so our end of work in process was 6,766. That rolls over to our scheduled cost of goods sold. So with what we had prior was a little over or right under 13,000, but we had that differentiation of 3,300 plus what we actually applied, which ended up being $659.95. So we believe that our we're so good at costing, it's pretty insignificant. So we just apply that to our adjusted cost of goods sold on the income statement, which is not bad. $659 is not bad for the month. So here's our income statement for September. We actually sold 33,000. Our cost of goods sold, which include that adjustment for the underapplied overhead, and then all of our administrative salaries. So like I said in the beginning, our expenses for manufacturing overhead that are applied are those things are within the factory but aren't touching the good that we're selling. So we do have to take in account to all the expenses that are beyond that. And here you have administrative salaries, office building equipment, advertising expenses, and so forth. So we had a net income for the month of $5,876.50. I thank you all for your time. If you have any questions, don't feel free to reach out to me at any time.